Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Goofy Blonde Chef. I'm Lisa, your host. Today, as part of our holiday series, we're gonna make a Raisin Pumpernickel Bread. It is so delicious. It's made a little bit healthier with the use of sprouted rye flour and whole wheat flour. We do use a little bit of all-purpose flour as well, but it's so easy, it's so delicious. I think you're gonna love this, so hang on, and here we go. Let's take a look at the ingredients for our pumpernickel raisin bread. Start with some coconut sugar that'll feed the yeast. Quick rising yeast. We've got stone ground whole wheat flour, some all-purpose unbleached flour, and organic sprouted rye flour. We're going to use 2 cups of each. Molasses, some baking cocoa, organic raisins, salt, olive oil, and a little bit of cornmeal for the baking pan. And that's it. Now the first step is to get our yeast started. This is 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. Just warm to the touch. 1/4 cup of molasses. And we'll stir that. Add one package of quick rise yeast, and a tablespoon of coconut sugar, and that's going to help feed the yeast. We want that to get nice and foamy. It's going to take about 10 minutes. Now, while we wait for the yeast to bloom, I'm going to soak a cup of raisins in some hot water and just let them soak until we're ready to use them. Okay, now our yeast and molasses and sugar has formed a nice little bubbly film. Call that the bloom. We're gonna take 2 cups of our rye flour, fold that in. So next I'm going to add a tablespoon of salt and about 1.5 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa, and we'll mix that. So once that's all nice and combined, next on the agenda is 2 cups of whole wheat flour. I'm going to add this gradually. So now at this point we should have a nice sticky dough. I've put some of my all-purpose unbleached flour on my board, and we're going to start kneading that flour into the dough. And adding more flour as we need it. We want it to not be so sticky. And anytime you're using rye flour, you're going to have kind of a sticky dough. Just warning you in advance. But this is going to take some time to work in. So we're going to time lapse it. So at this point we want our dough to be smooth and elastic, and we want to kind of form it into a little ball. Now is where our oil comes in. I'm going to take my oil and oil the bowl. Take our dough ball, and we're going to just coat it on one side and then the other, because we don't want this to crack and dry out. There we go. I'm going to cover this with a towel and put it in a warm place like the top of the refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours, and it should triple in size. We'll be back. Now we're about to have some fun. A little more bench flour. I drained my soaked raisins. And my dough, I've punched it down now. And we want to kind of press it into a rectangle. This is where, or maybe a football. A football would work. Well, that's good. And we're going to sprinkle our raisins all over our football. This is a lot of raisins, just saying. Because I soaked them, they increased in volume. Okay. Now, we're gonna roll it up like a big old jelly roll. And you may lose some along the way, and that's just fine. So now we're gonna distribute them. Any raisins that jumped off along the way, just kind of press them in. And I'm gonna go through the kneading process one more time to get those raisins nice and distributed. Now we've got it kind of shaped into a long loaf. I'm going to split it in two and take a parchment lined pan and sprinkle some cornmeal. And we're just going to form two beautiful round loaves. You know, these are they're small. These are mini loaves. And it's okay, because that's what we want this time. Oh, that looks good. Make sure the cornmeal is nice, and I'll stick another raisin in there because it can't hurt. And now I'm going to cover these with my towel again and let them rise for about an hour, and then we're going to bake them. Okay, these have risen nicely, so I'm just going to brush them with a little melted vegan butter to give them a nice crisp crust. These are going to go in 400 degrees for 25 to 35 minutes. And we'll see you soon. So my loaves are out. They're a little bit cooled, but still warm enough. And make a nice slice. Look at that. Woo! And a little vegan butter. If you can keep it on there. Look how gorgeous that is. With a nice bowl of soup. Got perfect, hearty fall meal. Yum! Well, there was our episode. I hope you loved it. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. We'll see you next time on The Goofy Blonde Chef. Thank you so much for watching.